So tensions have been rising even more between South Korea and Japan recently as the two countries are at odds over diplomatic, historic, and trade issues. And there's one YouTube creator in the United States named Chad Tanner who's been working hard to raise awareness about South Korea's easternmost islets of Dokdo, as well as about Korean women who were forced to serve as sexual slaves for Japanese soldiers during World War II. And today we have with us Chad Tanner, a YouTube creator with over 214,000 subscribers, who even ran an ad on a billboard in New York's Times Square about Dokdo and the so-called comfort women to raise awareness about these issues. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so first and foremost, tell us about this advertisement that you ran on a billboard in New York's Times Square. I mean, what was the ad about, and also how did you come about making it?
Yeah, so the ad was just basically, I had to be careful because it can't be a political ad. So I had to be careful about how I said it. But basically, I just wanted to raise awareness kind of about the relationship between Korea and Japan, and specifically about comfort women and about the sexual slavery that they suffered at the hands of Japan in the 1930s and 1940s. Because it was an issue I actually didn't know about until I came to Korea. And so we never learned about it in any of my high school or university classes, so I thought it was an important issue to share. And so in thinking about how I would share the issue, I thought, like, okay, what's a basically very big way, exciting way that I could share it. And so I thought, I was like, well, the most famous place in the United States is Times Square. I was like, what if I could get an advertisement in Times Square? And so I looked into it, and it took some time, but it worked out.
It worked out, and you got to see it with your own eyes, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah. So I flew out there to see it and filmed a reaction to it. It was really exciting.
All right. Well, now, how did you get so interested in Korean history? I mean, when did you come to Korea? You talked about how you studied in the States, but then you came to Korea without knowing about all this.
Yeah,
so how did you become so interested?
I really didn't know much about Korea until I came in 2007, and I lived here for a couple years, and I slowly learned about more of the issues related to Japan and just about Korean history. And as I lived here, I really fell in love with the people and the culture, and so it kind of just started from there. And then when I went back to the States, I took some more classes, and I did take a Korean history class, and they didn't touch on it too much, so I kind of just dove in deeper myself.
Okay. Well, I mean, what were your first thoughts on the issue surrounding South Korea's easternmost islets of Dokdo? Because Japan has been claiming, as they're falsely claiming, as their territory, right?
Yeah, so when I first heard about Dokdo, my thoughts were kind of, well, why is it so important, right? And so that was my first thought. I think as a foreigner, I did not quite understand the significance. So I talked to some Korean friends, and I looked into it more. And basically, I learned that it's also Dokdo, but it's also this deeper issue that, you know, that was the first area that Japan took from Korea. And so I wouldn't say it's symbolic, but it's also representative, a lot of the relationship between Korea and Japan, and so that's why it's important. And so I realized, okay, it's not only just this island, and it's not the area surrounding this island, but it's about Korea's sovereignty.
Now, going back to that ad that you put up on Times Square billboard, I mean, you talked about how it couldn't be political, right?
Yes.
So how did you go about in, kind of not going in that way, but still, raising awareness about the issue?
Yeah, so kind of what I did is, and I only had 15 seconds to share the message, and I couldn't be too political, otherwise they wouldn't approve the ad. And so my thought process was, okay, if I can at least get people's interest, if I can pique their interest, and then if I could get them to visit a website. So I bought a domain, visitdokdo.com, where people could go to learn more about Dokdo, comfort women, and so I linked out to some other websites. So that was kind of the goal. I knew 15 seconds wasn't very long, and I couldn't share as much as I wanted to share, so that was the approach.
But then, I mean, thousands of people crossed the streets in Times Square, so obviously that was a really good way to raise awareness about these issues.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, now, I visited that Dokdo.com or visitdokdo.com site, and then I saw that you actually had a portion where you had like mug cups and other things that you would make donations if a person buys it. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so the idea was like, okay, if we're getting people here, maybe we could also do some good, right? And drive some traffic to a website where people could buy things that not only spread awareness, but then with the proceeds, we could donate them to Comfort Women Foundations and other foundations. And so I think what we'll do is we've sold a decent amount of things so far, and we're going to contact the people directly. We're going to give them an option of several Comfort Women charities and things to spread awareness in the States or in other countries, and we'll see the people who purchased items where they would like that money to go.
All right. Now, turning our focus a little bit, I mean, as we've been hearing in the news, there have been rising tensions between South Korea and Japan over many issues, including even trade. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I'm not extremely informed on it, but I do think that the issue of Japan basically removing Korea from the whitelist, the so-called whitelist of trade, I think that's a big issue. And not only does that affect Korea and Japan, it's bad for both Korea and Japan, but it's bad for everybody.
Right.
And so when trade goes down and when there's more restrictions to trade, I think it's going to be a bad thing for everyone's economy. So I'm hopeful that they can work it out, and I know that there's a lot of history between Korea and Japan, but I'm hopeful that they can work it out for the sake of the economy and everybody living here and everywhere.
Now, what are your goals from here on out? I mean, what do you wish to achieve through your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so initially when I started YouTube, my goal was kind of to just kind of share fun videos with people, and I still want to do that. I still want to provide entertainment for people and for Korean people who watch my YouTube channel and the reactions of my family and friends experiencing Korean culture. But now with this video, I feel like there's maybe an opportunity to do a little bit more and maybe to share issues that Koreans care about and that they would like people to know about worldwide. And so I would like to do some more things with comfort women because I think it's a huge, huge deal. I think it's a terrible thing that happened, and I think that it's important that we don't forget what happened. And so so I'd like to spread some more awareness about comfort women, but also in the future other issues that are going to be important to Korean people and that they want to be shared globally.
I mean, this is really something that even a Korean person, you know, it's hard for us to do, but a foreigner like you, a person from the United States, you know, doing a YouTube channel about Korea and also raising awareness about Dokdo and the so-called comfort women. I mean, really, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Yes, thanks for having me.